ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 23 of the Jdash Show. I am Jdash, aka Jim Meunier, or vice versa, wherever the hell you want me to be known as. I don't care. Welcome to another edition alongside my co-host and partner of crime, Wrestling Movie G, also known as Carlos, wherever the hell he wants to be called today, too. How are you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing all right, man. My wrestling movie G, yeah, that's my Twitter feed. That's not my actual name, but hey, shit, if you want to call me that, I can work with it. I'm
I'm
comfortable
not,
with it.
I'm not joking. We will be, I don't think it'll be our generation, but it could be in someone else's generation where their names will be legit Twitter handles. They
We're
will have
slowly getting there.
they'll have at symbols in their name, and you'll be asked, "What's your name?" "Oh, I'm at TK Metcalf," or something like that. I don't know why I just mentioned a wide receiver from the NBA and NFL, but you know, it's the season. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the JDash Show is a part of the Unhinged Network. You can find us at Network Unhinged. You can also follow the network at multiple areas, including a live stream option of all of our shows 24/7, 7 days a week. There's 14 podcasts and 6 network exclusive shows. You can find that at unhingedsn.airtime.pro, or you can visit a website at unhingedsn.com. So let's what we're going to get into today. A lot of things have happened since we were on the podcast.
A
I
lot of
think it was
changes.
what was it, Wednesday we dropped the podcast last week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there were rumors about a head coaching hire here in Jacksonville. That we were talking about the Washington football team's finale of their season, which was not depressing from a lot of people I've talked to about Washington. It was more of an achievement of a team that, quite honestly, at times this year didn't look like they deserved to ever be in the postseason, but because of the NFC East being so bad this year, they achieved a postseason berth and they gave Tom Brady a run for his money in the first round of the playoffs.
It was a
So,
season of resilience, and I
yeah,
don't feel bad about the loss. Like you said, like we took it to Brady, came down to the last play. I like it.
yeah,
I like the future this team seems to have.
yeah, and that's a positive mindset. And the same thing goes here down in Jacksonville with the number one overall pick, which 99.9999999% chance that it's going to be
Nine
Trevor
nine nine.
Lawrence. Um, all the national media has been just blowing up this Justin Fields and Urban Meyer is going to pull a association because of his allegiance to Ohio State. He's going to draft Justin Fields. It's a blind man can make this pick and they'll know it's the right pick. But they say, oh, what happens if Trevor Lawrence is a bust? Well, let Jacksonville find that out and let all the speculations of if he's a bust or not be determined on the field. But to get into our first big time stories of the day and of today's podcast here, which is presented by Fubo TV, Football TV, cut the cord, get the deals. The link is in our description. That's Fubo TV. Get rid of cable. Save the money. Watch all your sports. Watch all your favorite programming. The Hidden Sports Network and the J Dash Show is partnered with Fubo TV. The link is in our description, or you can go to FuboTV.com to get your 7-day free trial started. But remember, click on that link, help out the network, help out the podcast. That's FuboTV.com. To get the thing started, on Thursday, the news was made official. I've been tweeting about it all day on Thursday last week, and my source within the Jacksonville Jaguars has been pretty on point for, I don't know, since I've known him since we were about 6 years old. And he's basically told me that the Urban Meyer hire was official. I made a tweet on Tuesday last week that Urban Meyer will be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That never got a trend, never got a like. So sometimes when you break the news, break stories, you don't get the recognition unless you are a blue check mark. And I understand that. I'm not, disappointed. But Urban Meyer, as you know, is a 3-time national champion in college with 2 championships at Florida, and his most recent one against Ohio State with Ohio State, is getting a lot of criticism for being a guy who has, pulled the health card a lot about believing stress organizations. And yes, there is some baggage with him. I do not want to get into the debate about the baggage that he's in. Yes, he has baggage. We do know that. It's documented that he has baggage. But please tell me a championship organization in any sport. I don't care if it's women croquet, because Aaron and Karen don't get along, so there is some drama between the two. There is always dysfunction. There's always someone on the team that has that attitude or has that background that wins a championship. And one of the best overall minds of the game of football, Tom Coughlin. I know he's a New York Giant, but he's also a Jacksonville Jaguar. Even was quoted as saying in his book that sometimes having a few loose screws in your locker room develops a championship caliber mindset. So when people say that Urban Meyer is such a bad guy and why did Jacksonville hire him? Well, why did Jacksonville hire him, ladies and gentlemen? You know why they hired him? Because it's what you're doing now. You're all paying attention to a city called Jacksonville. That's why the hire was made. And because basically Urban Meyer is going to control everything here in Jacksonville. He is the head coach. He's going to be the CEO. He's going to take the Bill Belichick route here in Jacksonville. And him and Bill Belichick, hate to break the news to you, ladies and gentlemen, they're best friends. So I guarantee they've talked to each other back and forth. Then you have the discussions and rumors about college coaches going to NFL. They don't succeed. They fail. Yes, more have failed than succeeded. But the names who did succeed in college to the NFL are Pete Carroll, who won the Super Bowl in Seattle, Jimmy Johnson, who won a Super Bowl in Dallas, and another guy no one talks about, they overlook, is Tom Coughlin. He's a college guy that went to the NFL and won 2 Super Bowls in the NFL. So there are some cons to it, like Jim Harbaugh, who made it to the Super Bowl but didn't win it to win it to Michigan. But people said that was a disappointment. The guy had a winning record in college and a winning record in the NFL. He just went to a prominent university in Michigan. People say Nick Saban is a failure in the NFL. He's not a failure in the NFL. I don't know why people mention this all the time. It gets on my nerves.
Disagree.
It's because
he was a failure.
he was 500, dude.
He was still a failure because he left the team high and dry. He made a commitment and rolled out and he was also called the Nick-tator because he would always be like so wound up. He was such a dick.
Yeah, but he left to go to college, pretty much become the most dominant college football coach that ever lived.
True that, but at the same time, he could not cut it at the NFL level. He wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, he left Miami, yes, but saying that he's a failure by record-wise is wrong.
Reputation-wise, certainly doesn't help either.
Reputation, yes, but not record-wise. So
his record sucked.
What I'm trying to get at, I'm not gonna get into a debate about it. We talked about Nick Saban before.
Yeah, I know, and I can't help but budget. Just don't bring up Nick Saban in the NFL, and I won't.
But they're already putting comparisons to Urban Meyer to Nick Saban already. Too soon. He hasn't got to Jacksonville yet. And people said, why did he choose Jacksonville? Jerry Jones approached him last year. Yeah, Jerry Jones approached Urban Meyer last year. And what Urban Meyer said in one of the interviews here in Jacksonville? You know who the other coaches that Jerry Jones approached last year? College coaches that turned down the Cowboys job?
Quite a few, I would imagine.
Yes. Jerry Jones is so full of his Dallas Cowboys that Urban Meyer said, yeah, it was it was me, it was Bob, it was Nick. We all got contacted, and we all just decided, it wasn't our time. So that just tells you that Jerry Jones went after Bob Stoops, Nick Saban, and Urban Meyer to be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys last year. And they all three turned down Jerry Jones. But what was one of the most attracting things about Urban Meyer becoming the head coach here in Jacksonville is that He gets a whole organization under his control. He can build the organization like an Ohio State style, a winning tradition, hopefully. He can bring in his own coaches. He's already bringing in some. He's about to sign Robert Morris, who was a defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons last year. And you got to admit, Atlanta had a very good defense last year at times. Usually a defense quits when your offense ain't doing shit. But Robert Morris historically has had good defenses. He signed Charlie Strong, who is a former University of Texas head coach, former University of Louisville head coach, and the former University of South Florida head coach, will be coming on the Jacksonville staff. He was a defensive coordinator at University of Florida with Urban, and he'll be the linebackers coach here at Jacksonville. So far, the narrative that Urban Meyer has been conditioned right now from the national media is that will his health condition survive him losing to Jacksonville? First off, to your assholes that think this way, and it's even to the people here on the network that have already mentioned it on NFL Unhinged, and I wasn't on that show, saying about his health his health is a key reason. And timeout. Just a side note, ladies and gentlemen, we are recording this right now during the Buccaneers and Saints game, and this is not the way I wanted Drew Brees to leave the NFL. Just want to say that.
He shouldn't have said anything about retiring. Yeah. You just don't do that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the next segment, but that's when the game will be official. But I don't want that for him.
It's a bummer.
But to get back on the Urban Meyer and about his health and about how he's getting in the league, he knows the National Football League. It's not the fucking college football. In college football, you lose 2 games, your season is done because of how the stupid playoff is in the college football, where only the elite schools of the elite can get into it, and that's about 10 schools overall in all college football that can legitimately win a national title. In NFL, you can lose 7 games and be a playoff contenders. Not going to bash your Redskins, my friend, or your football team, but some years you can lose 9 games to make the postseason.
Yeah, good stuff.
And I hate to break it to you, 9 and 7 teams are not bad teams in the National Football League. They're decent and good teams. Some 9-7 teams make the postseason and make a hell of a run to the playoffs. I think one of those years that the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl, they were a wild card team. And I think they were like 9 and 7.
That is correct.
You can make the playoffs with the 7 losses, but this narrative about his health. He's coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a fan of the Jaguars. They fucking suck. He knows that they're a bad team. He knows there's going to be losses. And you know what Urban Meyer does that a lot of coaches really don't do? I think most of them do secretly, but Urban Meyer does it very vocally, and he shows it during post games and during the field antics. He's taken notes of all the I'm not going to say that. Well, all the narratives and all the, the headlines of all these experts and coaches and these other teams saying that he can't do this. He's going to be a failure. When he starts kicking everyone's ass in Jacksonville, he's going to remember those people who said that, and he's going to run up the score. One of my best quotes I've ever heard Urban Meyer say in my life was when he was at the University of Florida, and he called the school, his rival, the school out west, my alma mater, Florida State University. A player on Florida State's team, Geno Hayes, said that there's no way that Urban Meyer team will score this amount of points on me. Well, Florida ran up the score on us, and Urban Meyer mentioned it in the post game. He said there was a player on the other team that kind of, gave us bulletin board material. That's him taking notes. Urban Meyer, in my opinion, will he be a success? I think he will, because he'll have the number 1 overall draft pick. He'll have $100 million of cap space. And also, he has 11 draft picks in his allotment. He's going to change Jacksonville's organization. It may not happen next year. May not happen next year, of course. It won't happen next year. I think, as a Jaguar fan, I think Jacksonville will be a successful season in 2021 will be 6 wins. 6 or 7 wins, depending on how the 17-game schedule. So that 17th game, I don't know how they're going to do, and that could be determined to be either 8 or maybe 5, whatever. But 6-win season next year is a improvement of last year. In 2 years, Jacksonville will be a playoff team because the AFC South is in a complete disarray, and a lot can happen with that. So for all the people out there, the naysayers out there about Jacksonville, about he's going to be a failure in Jacksonville, well, I just got to break it to you. Well, we're Jacksonville. We have him. We'll find out what he is. Might be a success, might be a failure. But honestly, we're 1-15 last year. This team has won 12 games in 3 years. You think if he fails, Jacksonville really cares? We've already hit rock bottom. Okay, there's only one way to go, and it's up. If the guy wins 3 games next year, it's an improvement from last year. But when you have free agent receivers out there like Allen Robinson already tweeting about Jacksonville in his Twitter feed, it's because some guys want to come home. They know there's a new coach in town, and they know that Trevor Lawrence, aka the next great quarterback. Yes, I've already do that. You can write it down. You can save this episode. Trevor Lawrence will be the next great quarterback in the NFL, and he will be wearing Jaguar colors. So yes, Urban Meyer is in Jacksonville. There's buzz in Jacksonville, and I'm happy about it. But what the segue to another thing about the St. Louis media. I love St. Louis. We've covered you guys for the Battlehawks for the XFL. You guys rocked out. But to the St. Louis media, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to your city. Here's the reason why. St. Louis is a major sports city. You're not an NFL city. You just don't support your NFL teams. And this could be based off of facts. Over the last 10 years, the team that you said that doesn't deserve a team in Jacksonville has drew more fans than you than 10 years. There's only 1 year in 20 years that St. Louis has had more of attendance than Jacksonville. That was the year after the Super Bowl, the 2001. Or 2000, excuse me. They won in the 99. And people say, oh, well, it's because Jacksonville has a bigger stadium. Well, I'm doing this percentage-wise. And I got the stats right here. Over the last 20 years, Jacksonville's average attendance in football games is 88.6%. The St. Louis Stadium, or the Rams, is 83%. 3% more fans in Jacksonville, more attendance. That's over the last 20 years of when St. Louis had a team. Since St. Louis left to LA, Jacksonville's attendance has gone up the last 4 years. Has gone up. Even in our bad years, our attendance has gone up. Then you hear the narrative about the tarps. The reason why our stadium is tarped, 1 section, 2 sections in the stadium, is because our max capacity in Jacksonville is 84,000. 84,000, which will be in the top 5 attending stadiums in the National Football League. Jacksonville is not that big of a city to support a team that stadium that size, but we host a game here called the Florida-Georgia game that sells that baby out. Also, the rumors about, Jacksonville's city council voted no against Lot J. Yes, they did, because the city of Jacksonville did not agree with Shah Khan's $100 million loan that the city wanted to pay for. And it was more political than anything else. The city council wants the mayor out of town, so they voted no, and despise the man.
Jeez, sounds like a shit show.
Exactly. And the St. Louis, Jaguars are leaving. The city council voted no. To you people in St. Louis, here's a little, inside information. In March, Jacksonville will be proposing a new stadium to the city council of Jacksonville that it's not going through the mayor's office at all this time around. It's going through a department called the DIA, which is the Downtown Investment Authority. I have a family member who works on the DIA. They only need 4 votes out of 5 to get the thing passed. And if it gets passed by the DIA, it goes to the city council. And with the partial pass in the DIA, the city council has to approve it. And honestly, with the 4 or 5 people, I know the 5 people in the DIA personally. They all know my family. and they are going to vote yes on the new stadium for Jacksonville. So for St. Louis fans and all you blue check marks, all you smart people that work for ESPN at St. Louis, you had NFL team twice. You had them twice. The St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Rams. You lost them twice. It's because your city did not want to build a new stadium for your owner. And your owner demanded it for about 6 years, a new stadium. The Cardinals got a new stadium. The St. Louis Blues got a new arena. The Rams did not get anything after the Super Bowl championship. After Kurt Warner won you guys a Super Bowl, the city flicked you guys off.
Yeah, they did suck. They did suck pretty hard, though.
Yes.
And it is a very expensive proposition to ask for taxpayers to pay for all that.
I'm not bashing the fans of St. Louis. The fans of St. Louis are there, and they will support a team if it's there. The problem is that what the NFL is looking for in a massive scale, the city of St. Louis wasn't committed at the time. And then you have St. Louis media members taking shots at Jacksonville because they have no idea what's going on here in the inner workings of the city. And they're saying, "Oh, look, the future St. Louis Jaguars are drafting Lawrence, and they got Urban Meyer." St. Louis, you have a better chance of getting an expansion franchise than the Jacksonville Jaguars. The city of Jacksonville has the Jaguars to at least 2030, and with the new stadium that's going to pass in March of this year, they're going to be here for a longer time. So don't get too excited. Go cheer for your Los Angeles Rams. Oh, wait, that's right. They left you, and they lost in the playoffs, so that's a double-edged sword. So I'm going to start. I love the city of St. Louis. I love you guys that supported the Battlehawks. You guys did an incredible job. I think a right team will go there, but do not. My allegiance and my support of you guys ends when you come after my team here in Jacksonville, because you need to get your facts straight before you start plantering off blue stuff and BS on Twitter because you're a blue check mark and you get your fan base riled up in St. Louis. Okay? Get your paws off the Jacksonville Jaguars, because if Jacksonville does go to St. Louis, which will happen maybe in my lifetime, they'll basically leave St. Louis again and go to somewhere else, because of what a news reporter here in Jacksonville said, or a radio guide says, that St. Louis is always a stopgap to a team to find another home, because they say St. Louis is the gateway to the West. Have you ever noticed both teams that played in St. Louis both went out west? Just saying. But anyways, I'm done bashing the city of St. Louis. You guys are good, but you guys stop trying to go after an NFL team when you had two NFL teams and you failed the opportunity to keep them in your home, because, of course, it's not the fans, it's the city council, it's the city of St. Louis. Also, some other interesting things in the NFL. Coaching hires: Robert Saleh to the Jets, Arthur Smith to the Atlanta Falcons. Really, I had a Robert Saleh interview for Jacksonville, and yes, he's a good defensive coordinator. San Francisco's had good defense, but besides from that, I don't know what people see in him. Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator from Tennessee, got hired by Atlanta Falcons.
Seems like an interesting choice. I mean, he did a really good job with Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill, like everybody threw him out like he was hot garbage.
But can you treat Todd Gurley like Henry?
I don't think they're going to be expecting him to do that. I think that Atlanta's probably going to start moving away from Gurley, I would imagine.
Yeah. So it's two interesting hires, to say the least. But the Robert Saleh to the Jets, it feels like the Jets, they're looking for an offensive explosion, and they hire a defensive-minded coach. It's interesting. Robert Saleh has been reports and rumors that he likes Darnold, which should be a red flag to Jets fans. And of course, a lot of Jet fans are just hoping that Urban Meyer messes up in Jacksonville. Keep dreaming. You're the guys who won 2 games at the end of the year to screw yourself out, Trevor Lawrence. But
That was amazing.
Yeah. But for the Jets, Robert Saleh, I really can't say anything about the guy. Just I know he has good defenses. From what I've read, his players love him. A lot of his players play for him, and you really can't for me that new hot offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator never really makes me get excited for of a coach.
Well, the Jets keep doing the same thing that they've been doing for past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
They keep going after specialty guys. They did that with Rex Ryan. They did that with Adam Gase. Rex Ryan is a defensive guy. Didn't pan out. Adam Gase is an offensive guy. Total freaking disaster.
Yeah, it's we're in the season of coaching changes, and we have so much more to get into as weeks progress, especially during the off season. But those are the two coaches. There's a couple of GMs, but honestly, that's a lot of research on guys who you really never hear about unless they just draft badly. Because usually, what my buddy said is that if a GM is doing their job and they are doing a very good job, you never hear the GM's name. It's like an offensive lineman. If he's blocking his ass off and his quarterback's not getting hit, you don't even know their name because they're doing a good job. But yeah, Robert Saleh to the Jets, Arthur Smith to the Atlanta Falcons, and of course Urban Meyer to the Jacksonville Jaguars are the big three coaching hires of this week. But after this break, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into the NFC, AFC divisional round of the playoffs here on the Jdash Show, a part of the Unhinged Sports Network.
Hey everyone, it's Ken.
And Trevor from the Bleacher Connection.
Make sure to tune into our show every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, to hear us talk hockey, baseball, CFL, and everything in between.
Tune in weekly to our That's Offside segment as we discuss controversial topics from the week that was in sports.
The Bleacher Connection, a proud part of the Unhinged Sports Network.